In this video, I will show you how to craft yourself your own adventurer's camp together with tents, torches and fire pits. We'll also see how to use LEDs in order to light up your games. This build is really cheap and quick to do, and you will find here a list of all the materials that you will need. And without further ado, we'll start with the tent. For the skeleton of any tent, you will use some barbecue skewers. You will start by cutting 4 pieces of 6 cm long for each side of the tent. To make sure that I will keep the same space between 2 posts, I will cut an additional part of 5 cm. And then, with Tacky Glue, I will simply glue them into a triangle shape. The next step is not mandatory, but if you want to create an awning to your tent, you can cut 2 additional posts of 5 by 5 cm. Then, you can cut a small piece of rope and glue it to both posts. By rolling up the rope around the post like that, it will make them really sturdy. And while it's drying, make sure to stretch the rope as much as possible. And with some additional pieces of barbecue skewers, we'll make some pegs. Make sure to measure the length of the rope that you will need to go up to the floor in a triangle shape. And once again, you will roll up the rope and glue it. And once everything is dry, you will apply some glue directly on the rope. And again, while it's drying, you will make sure to stretch it as much as possible and to lock it in this exact position. And when everything is dried, your awning will be ready for the next step. And now we'll get back to the tent itself. Now that both sides are dried, we will glue them all together with a long piece of skewers of 8 cm. Again, not mandatory, but for a better look, you can also glue some piece of ropes around the corners. Here I have not done it, but if you want, you can replicate the technique that we learned with the awning in order to attach some pegs to the side of the tent. Here, to make the tent a bit sturdier, I will attach one additional piece to the bottom part of one side of the tent. And now you will simply apply 2 coats of brown for the wooden part and 2 coats of beige for the rope. If you don't mind the few extra steps, I have made a dedicated video on how to paint realistic wood effects. While it will improve the looks of any of your wooden builds, I don't believe it's mandatory here. For the next step, we'll take some baby wipes in order to do the canvas of the tent. Alternatively, you can use some paper towel or some toilet paper, but usually they have some texture on it that don't really look good. If the width of your paper is too narrow, don't hesitate to stretch it a bit because it will give it an even better result. And depending on the looks that you want to achieve, you can also turn it a bit. For the next step, we'll need some Mod Podge, but you can also use some Tacky Glue mixed with some water. Honestly, I don't know the difference. As you can see, you can simply take your finger in order to apply it evenly on the paper. And that's why I prefer baby wipes compared to toilet paper, because it's already a bit wet and it will turn a bit less quickly. And of course, don't forget to do both sides. And when ready, you will simply stretch it on the structure of your tent. And it's here that the magic of this technique will operate. Indeed, the more folds and tiers you manage to make it appear, the more realistic it will look like. Here, I kept it pretty simple, but you can see on the attached picture that you can really go out of your way. You will then leave it to dry for a few hours, and you will then cut the overhangs, and this should be your result. For the next step, you will apply 2 coats of any paints, even if I advise beige or camo green. Here your basic tent is done, but if you want, you can cut the awning. For this, you will make sure to cut a rectangle of the same size of your posts, but make sure to leave it attached to the tent. If you like the video so far and want to support the channel, it's the best time to subscribe and to leave a comment. Many thanks in advance if you do it. When cut, you will bend it like that and make sure to leave a small overhang above your posts. Don't worry, we'll improve the looks of the awning a bit later. In the meantime, however, I forgot to do the sides of the tent, so we will do it right now. For this, you will simply take one baby wipe and draw some triangles on it, and you will replicate the previous step with the Mod Podge. And again, don't forget that the more folds you manage to create, the more realistic it will look like. And while the sides are drying, we will finish the awning. For this step, you will simply bend a bit the overhang and apply some Mod Podge on it. Then you will apply some Mod Podge on the posts and place them below the fabric. And while it's drying, I make sure to apply on it a bit of weight in order to make it curved. And when everything is dry up, this should be your result. Don't hesitate to adapt this model the way you like. For example, you can cut a small opening in the middle of one side. And for the final touch, we'll apply some wash. You can easily buy some pre-made one, but you can also do it yourself by mixing some black or brown paints with some water and adding 1 dip of dish soap. With the tent ready, we'll move to the bases. Simply cut some random shape into a sheet of chipboard or into XPS foam. For a better look, you can add some verticality by gluing some additional pieces. And when you are happy with your bases, you will apply some tacky glue everywhere. Then you will take an old brush and some water and you will spread the glue evenly. Then you will take a bag of tea leaf and spread it evenly on the bases. On my side, I had the package completely expired, so it was really useful for this build. If you intend to use some LEDs for your fire pit, don't forget before the base is fully dry to drill holes at the place of your fire. Alternatively to the tea leaves, you can use some static grass. Using the exact same process with the tacky glue, I will add a bit of static grasses to the side of the bases in order to add some variety. And I will also take this opportunity in order to hide the different spots where the tea leaves did not glue properly. And for a final touch and to make the base really sturdy, I will mix some tacky glue with some water and spread it all over the place. And while the base is drying, I will do some benches and the fire pit. In order to do that, you will take a wooden dowel and do some marks with a knife. Here, the idea is that the wooden dowel are perfectly round and we want to add some texture in order to make them look like more wooden logs. As always, make sure to be safe and to not cut yourself. Then you will need to cut the dowel into pieces of 3 cm. Keep a few pieces on the side for your benches and you will use a pencil sharpener on a few others in order to make a basis for your torches as well as the logs for your fire pits. For the wooden logs, you will use a pencil sharpener on both sides, but for the torches you will only do one side. On the other side, you will glue some ropes. Once painted, it will look like that. I will show you a bit later how to do the flame effect. For the benches, you will take 2 pieces of 3 cm and cut 2 additional pieces of 1 cm. And when ready, you will simply glue it like that. And now, for the final part of this video, I will show you how to make the flame effect and how to light it up with some LEDs. To paint the flame, you will need all those colors. Alternatively, if you don't have so much, you can mix a bit of white in your red in order to get different shades of orange. For the basis of the flame itself, I will simply use some cotton swab and some cotton wool. You will use some glue on it in order to shape it like a flame, and then you will wait for it to dry before painting. You will then start by 1 coat of bright yellow, and before it completely dry, you will add a light tone of orange. Make sure to apply the color only on the top part of the flame and to leave a small part at the bottom of the flame completely yellow. And you will simply rinse and repeat with darker tones. The more dark the tone you use, the less to the bottom you will go. And don't worry if you overdo it, you can always come back with the previous tone in order to adjust it. Also, to further smooth the different transition, you can mix together different tones. And if you do it properly, this should be your result. And for the last step of the painting process, we'll add a little bit of black on the top part of the flames. And for the last part of this video, we'll see how to add LEDs. For this, you will need those 2 pins 3V LEDs that are super easy to use with a simple watch battery. As you can see, no soldering will be needed for this build. And to use it even more easily, I found on Amazon those battery holders that are really cheap while having the advantage to have an on-off button. You can simply twist the wire into the LED spin, but for more durability, we'll use those heat shrink tubes. Do mind that both the pins of the LEDs and the wire of the battery holder have a positive and a negative side, and you need to match both of them. When ready, simply insert the positive side of the wire into one tube and the negative side into another one. And then, as its name suggests, you will simply use some heat on the tube in order to shrink it and keep the wires in place. If you use a lighter, please make sure to not put the flame directly into the tubes. When you are ready, make sure to test everything properly, and then you can attach everything to your base. And when you assemble everything together, here is the final result for your adventurer's camp. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Don't hesitate to subscribe and to let me know in the comments the next build that you want to see on this channel. Thank you and see you next time.